I'm so excited for this month, particularly because it is my birthday month and I will be turning 30 in less than, I think, in 7 days by the time this video goes live. But I am excited particularly about the age that I'm turning. I will be turning 30. I just got a thought that I haven't sound checked and I'm not sure if I've been recording. I'm coming into this video feeling a bit nervous because it will be first of its kind in terms of having a discussion or having a conversation, a common conversation that I have. I'm just going to plug this in. A conversation that I have, or that I usually have through my coaching calls or on my coaching videos. I don't know if the angles is it off. I don't know if that's better, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit nervous, I guess, for that, because I think it goes into a vulnerable space, or a space that I guard jealously, if I was to put it as such. But also coming into this video feeling, I think, a bit guilty, because the day I recorded this, my little sister actually had, she has a gig that she got, and it required for her to, I guess, do a BTS, and she had called earlier to ask if she can come use the house. And out of, I guess, my black and white mind, I felt a bit anxious and I wasn't sure if I would allow for these people, because there's a whole recording crew, to come into our space like that. And it was something that was unplanned. So I felt a bit, or I am, I guess, still present tense when I'm recording this video, feeling a bit guilty. So I think even when she comes home, I'm going to give her a very big hug and find ways to make it up to her, because I think the feeling comes from that place of, I guess, for me, and on times where I wanted people to show up and I guess show up for me and they didn't. I usually use this term to say that they missed out on moments to be there for me, and I think I feel that way in terms of not having had showed up for her in this moment, and I hope that she'll be able to forgive me. But yeah, for today's video, I think it's important to check in because I will be facilitating the video as myself. So I think it's always great to check in so that you even know, I think, mental state in terms of where I'm at when I come into this video. But I hope that you will take time to also check in with yourself and ask how you're feeling, what happened, and the big so what being, how are you going to change given what you know now. And I guess that makes up the check-in for today's video. A very long check-in. I even forgot to do my intro video, so I think let me jump in and do that before we jump into the core of the video. So hi, and welcome to my video. The name is Gorata.Selaledi. I'm so excited to be here recording this video for you for this Monday, and I hope this video finds you keeping very well, and if you aren't, I hope that you will feel better, just declaring the blood of Jesus over you, for it to speak a better word, to speak a word of healing, to speak a word of restoration, to speak a word of, complete wholeness in this moment, in Jesus' name. I hope that blesses you, and even as I say the words, I am believing that it is blessing me as well. But welcome to the video. If you're only joining me for the first time, please do click on that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so that you are notified when new videos come up onto this platform. New videos every Sunday, Monday, and Friday. And I am Gorata.Selaledi, a faith-based content creator, and the hope is to create a community of people that are characterized by prayer, Bible study, unconditional love, the word, and ultimately getting better as we pursue the assignments that are over our lives. So I live next to a park, and I think there are kids today as I record this, so they will be, I guess, in the background somehow. But thank you so much for stopping by. Let's get into the video. So the biggest takeaway from the month of May was reflection, and coming into today's video, it's going to be very short and I hope very impactful for you. But really, at the core of Mondays, I'm hoping that we will go back to reflection if you hadn't made time on Sunday, but use this platform or use Mondays as an opportunity to, I guess, build data around yourself, to understand who you are, to understand where you're at. There's an arc behind me and I don't like it when it comes into the frame. But anyways, yeah. So I've decided to title this video, Set Up a Meeting with Yourself. And this is something that I usually encourage my clients through my coaching program, the Own Up and Show Up 4-week program. And this is particularly when we come to talking about goals. But in today's video, I really want to share that particular thing, which is setting up a meeting with yourself as a way of really covering all the bases, from how you're feeling to what you want, and ultimately understanding and getting to a place of self-mastery in terms of who you are, why you're here, and what's your story. So I hope that this video blesses you ultimately from a place of you actually putting something practical in your life to shift you forward. So let's get into it. So what do you want? That's a question. What do you want? It's a question from me to you. What do you want? What do you want? So this is a question that I usually ask my clients on my coaching program, specifically for the goal success sessions that we have in the first week, right? And really, in getting to a place of understanding what it is you want, it is very important in helping breed clarity and bring structure into your life in terms of how you spend your time, where you channel your energy, and what you put effort into. And in learning this particular tool, when I was going through the coaching program, I loved it, and I think it's something that was a saving grace, if I should say, because it actually stood out to the point where in every single coaching session that I've had, I will make it a point to actually highlight, right? And as a BTW, I am a certified Goal to Success coach with Transformation Academy. This is something I did 4 years ago. And even as I'll be sharing every single Monday, the key thing is just to share practical thoughts, practical things that you can apply to your life to help you move forward and bring a bit of precision and definition in terms of who you are and why you're here, and ultimately elevate your contribution in the different spaces that you exist in. And I think in it's a train. I think it's gonna. So I've been working for, I think, the past 8 years. I will be celebrating 8 years in a month. And in organizations, there's this one constant: we will always have meetings, right? And a meeting is a place where we sit down to strategize for the week, strategize in terms of what it is you want to accomplish for that particular week, outcomes in terms of your objectives, specifically how far you are in reaching the objectives that you've set out for yourself, which are ultimately tied to bringing value to the organization. Meetings, right? And I think with the advent of COVID, there's been an acceleration in terms of how we meet and how we connect, because before, used to be physical meetings where we'd book a room, have to find a room and sit in the room for that particular time. But then now there is no limit given Microsoft Teams, where you are able to set up a meeting any other time and meet and kind of just refocus your energies for the projects that you have quicker wherever you are, right? And meetings. And I think in coming into today's video and in thinking about setting up a meeting with yourself, I'm here to just share that this is something that you can actually do every single week. And you know, when I think about businesses and when I think about organizations, the conversation is always what is your contribution to that particular organization. And I think in coming into this video and thinking about your life, to ultimately say what contribution are you making towards your own life in terms of your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your financial well-being, your social well-being in relation to the people that are connected to your life. What contribution are you driving in all these 5 spaces, right? It sounds like a question I would ask you if I was in a meeting with you. So in thinking about how, I think, having had been in corporate for 8 years and the different meetings that you sit in, where you contribute, and some meetings where you listen, etc., I'd want to take that one thing that seemingly sometimes feels very unnecessary. There's this meme that usually goes around to say that could have been an email. But ultimately, for this particular video, in thinking about meetings, we are thinking about meetings that are focused, meetings that are outcome-led, and having very defined a defined agenda in terms of why you're there. And stay with me, it will make sense. And I live next to a park, so there are kids outside. Sounds like a kid is screaming, and yes, a kid is screaming. But in thinking about it, and I guess that as a way of laying a foundation as well to describe a meeting, right? How a meeting comes about, that there is a time for that meeting, there's a duration, and there's a frequency. If it's every Monday at 8:30 to 9:30, that is on a Monday, 8:30 to 9:30 for an hour, and there's a defined agenda, the defined aim in terms of what you are trying to accomplish from that meeting. Very detailed, very precise, because I think when we think about business, it is tied to making the most out of the time and making, I guess, the most profit in this case, given that it's business and there's that profit drive. But ultimately, it's to say, how can we make the most of our time? And you know, in now bringing it back to you and me, to think about your life ultimately, grand scheme, outside of just work or school or whatever space you actually drive value for. It's now thinking about, do I actually give myself time to sit and re-strategize? Do I give myself time to sit and reflect? Do I give myself time to sit and plan out the time that you actually have outside of those designated spaces and hats that you wear, right? So ultimately, even in this moment as you're watching this video, time is ticking. Time is ticking. So I think in thinking about it from that lens, then in terms of the practical side of what a meeting looks like, I want us to then think about why you need to set up a meeting for yourself in the next video. So why do you need to set a meeting with yourself? You know, you're asking, you're sharing too much about meetings. What's the point? What's the big so what? So I had to take a pause there because I had to clear out my storage. I hadn't backed up in a while. But we are back, right? And in thinking about setting up a meeting with yourself, I think the big thing that I'm learning from having had been in corporate for the past 8 years is the need for structure to drive value. And in starting with setting up a meeting with yourself, and I will guide you shortly on how to do that, what it breeds is an opportunity, right? What it breeds for you is an opportunity to get to a place where you can ultimately even sit with God and listen and ask, Kore, what's the plan for this week? Plan for the week. And outside of just sitting and making a rote to-do list to say this is what I want to get done, when you get to that meeting, ultimately is to ask the right questions so that you can actually make a contribution in your life, in your own life, from all those points or touch points that I spoke to: your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your financial well-being, your social well-being, right? So in thinking about how to do it, and I believe just as the last part of today's video for this Monday, in thinking about how to set up a meeting with yourself, I'd want to just share it, I guess, or describe how that would happen, right? So this would be every week, basically, and I want for you to think about a time that works for you. So this can be Sunday or Monday, and I want for you to just start with 30 minutes. Given that this is something that you are going to be starting, it's not something you have been doing, so there might be a bit of resistance that comes from your mind, given that it's something that is not familiar. So 30 minutes to start off. So pause this video, go to your calendar, or if you can multitask, but pause the video and really have a think around what day works for me, what day works for you, Gorata, what day works for you, dear viewer, where you can actually have a meeting. I think a meeting sounds very serious, and I'll touch and go into that a bit in terms of what you need to have top of mind before you get to the meeting. So yeah, choose a day. This is very practical, and I am in your face right now saying, please pause this video and go to your calendar and just drop it in the comment section and tell me if you have. So choose a day and do 30 minutes for the next 4 weeks, and then in July you can actually then go back and increase the time to 45 minutes. In August we'll increase it to an hour, and once you've done that, I'd want you to remember this, right? So when you are invited for a meeting, let's say it's a meeting or an interview, or you're meeting someone, or you're going out on a date with a friend, the key thing is this: you will prioritize making it to the meeting on time. You will actually prioritize thinking about what will transpire at that particular meeting before you get to the meeting, I hope. But this is very important for your meeting, so you have to do that. So ultimately what I'm trying to then say is, for the day that you've chosen, this is the time that you've selected for yourself, right? So if I call you and I'm like, hey, let's go out for coffee at 6:30 on Sunday, and the 6:30 is the time that you've set out for yourself, you are able to then say to me point blank, no Gorata, no Gurizi, is not going to happen because I have an appointment, and maybe we can try another time, right? So the key thing there is to prioritize that meeting time just as you would prioritize any other meeting with anyone else. And the key reason being, like I said, you being able to set out time and have a meeting with yourself will be a great opportunity to shift so much in your life, right? So we've set the meeting, we've prioritized it in our minds, and on the day of the meeting, I'd want for you to arrive, right? So just as you would arrive to a date, there's an environment, there's the energy. Similarly for yourself, where are you having this meeting? Is it at home? Are you going out for coffee at local cafe or restaurant? Are you doing it in your room? Are you in the kids' room? Where are you having this meeting, right? So on the day of the meeting, I'd want for you to be very conscious about that and really think about arriving at the meeting and just thought about something that I need to do after this video. Yeah, but arriving, right? So arriving and setting the scene. So if it means making yourself a cup of coffee, lighting a candle, playing some worship music in the background, do exactly that. This is a very serious time, right? So take it very seriously. So arrive, set the scene, and for your first meeting, I'd want for you to really sit and have a think around what you want for this month. And given that it's a new month, it's June 2024, what do you want to see coming out of this month? And something that I usually do for myself is think about a vision word in terms of the vision for the month. And I think the big word for me for June is reflection, given that it's my birthday month. And thinking about the priority areas for that particular month, right? And priorities, I usually like using the word outcome as well to say, what do I want to see coming out of my life? And further on, I think for the following Mondays that will come, I'll figure out how to package it. We will talk about goal setting and setting smart outcomes for yourself, right? This is the first meeting. So set the tone in terms of vision for the month and high level, what are your priorities for the month? And take some time to also just reflect on the past month of May, right? So you can set a timer, 30 minutes, right? I love time because it's very precise. And it's a thing of, you can set 10 minutes to reflect and think of the vision for the month, think of the priorities for 10 minutes, set a timer for 10 minutes to think about the month of May, the key lessons that came from the month of May, what stood out for you, what do you believe God was trying to call out of you in the month of May? In the grand scheme of eternity, what is it? Write it down, right? And set 10 minutes, to wrap or round up the meeting and think about the next 7 days. Say on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, given the priorities that I have, what do I want to focus on, right? And being very practical, I'd want for you to get to a specific detail where you are able to outline on what day, at what time, for how long. Just like you're having that meeting, I'd want for that to come out very clearly even as you navigate thinking about your week. So what are you doing on Tuesday? What are you doing on Thursday, my girl? If I was to call Mark Zuckerberg and ask him, how's your Friday looking? Can we have a meeting at 11? He can specifically tell me that, no, I have a meeting at 11. Unfortunately, can we try at 12 o'clock? So similarly, even with your life, I want for you to actually allocate time for the things that you love, for the people that you love. Allocate time. And what that can look like practically is also going to your calendar and slotting those things in. It matters. It's very important, right? When it comes to you actually accomplishing and actually using your time well. I think in business, there's this phrase, time is money. But I think bigger, or ultimately with our lives are actually bigger or have even much worth. But we take them very lightly, or we take it very lightly. So that's it. That's really all I wanted to share in this video today. Set a meeting with yourself. Set up a meeting with yourself for just taking the time. Set up a meeting with yourself for that specific task to reflect on the past month and think about what it is you want for the coming month. I hope this video has been useful and helpful for you. I am just going to share my closing thoughts and wrap this video up. So it's very important to actually realize that if you do not plan, you plan to fail, right? It's a cliched quote. My battery is low. It's a cliched quote, but I would want for you to actually think about the so what of it in this case, to say that, have I planned my week? And if I haven't, I have actually set myself to fail. Very cliched, but it's not about knowing the cliche, but it's what you do with what you know. So I hope that this video has been useful for you. I hope that it has blessed you. It has pulled you closer to actually thinking about where you are, where you're going, and it will shift and change the direction and narrative of your story going into this new week, going into this new month. Thank you so much for watching the video to the very end. I am Gorata.Selaledi, so excited to make it to the end of this video because it was almost a fumble in compiling it, because I wanted to sound rote and share very obvious things, but I'm glad that I was able to actually share what I have shared, and I hope that it will bless you. Thank you so much for watching to the very end, and I hope you have an amazing, productive rest of the week until we meet again next week, Monday. It's a goodbye for me. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to press that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified as and when I post new videos. New videos out every Sunday, Monday, and Friday. I think there's someone at the gate.